What if the moon was replaced with a disco ball? At first, it sounds like the kind of idea you'd hear at 3 in the morning from someone who's just discovered what glitter is. But let's take it seriously for a moment. Suppose tomorrow, instead of our dull gray moon, the night sky revealed a massive disco ball, shining, faceted, and ready to turn Earth into the universe's biggest dance floor. The first question is, how big would this disco ball be? If we literally swapped the moon for a disco ball of the same size, about 3,474 kilometers across. That's a lot of mirrored glass. The good news is, in terms of gravity, the ball would behave almost the same way. Assuming it's made of glass and metal rather than rock, its mass would be different. But let's say some generous cosmic DJ builds us a disco ball that has exactly the same mass as the moon. That way, tides, orbits, and the length of our days won't suddenly fall apart. You still get to go surfing. But visually, things would change dramatically. Right now, the moon reflects only about 12% of the sunlight that hits it. That's why, despite being big and relatively close, it glows a soft, muted gray. A disco ball, though, is designed to reflect. That's the whole point. A typical mirror reflects about 90% of the light that strikes it. If we covered the entire moon in tiny mirrored tiles, the brightness in the night sky would be overwhelming. The moon would no longer be a calming companion, it would be a celestial flashlight aimed directly into your eyeballs. On a clear night, the full moon can be bright enough to cast shadows and even make it hard to see stars. A mirrored moon would be hundreds of times brighter, potentially outshining Venus and maybe even rivaling the sun during certain phases. Imagine trying to stargaze under that glare. Astronomers would quit en masse, telescopes would gather dust, and instead of writing poetry about the moon, people would be writing angry Yelp reviews about the universe's worst light pollution. But let's get more pedantic. A disco ball doesn't just reflect light in one big glow, it scatters it into thousands of moving beams. That's what makes it so mesmerizing in a nightclub. The rotating sphere throws little spots of light across every surface. Now imagine those beams being sunlight. Every sunrise, the first rays would hit the mirrored moon and scatter thousands of moving sunbeams across the Earth. At night, the reflected beams would sweep across the ground like cosmic searchlights. Cities wouldn't need street lamps anymore. You just get natural strobe lights every evening. Which sounds great until you remember that people need to sleep. Imagine trying to get rest while your bedroom wall flashes like a rave. Humanity would be in a permanent state of jet lag. And then there's the temperature problem. All that extra reflected light wouldn't just dazzle us, it would heat the planet. The Earth carefully balances the amount of sunlight it receives and the amount it radiates back into space. Increasing that input, even by a small percentage, could raise global temperatures. A disco moon could nudge us into runaway climate change faster than any factory smokestack. Forget dancing, people would be too busy sweating. Animals, too, would suffer. Many species rely on the moon's dim light to navigate or hunt. Sea turtles, for example, use moonlight to find the ocean after hatching. Birds migrate by it. A mirrored moon would completely scramble their instincts. Instead of quietly gliding under the stars, they'd be blinded by a sky-wide disco show. Nature doesn't come with sunglasses. Now suppose we keep the ball exactly as it is. A giant, faceted mirror suspended in space. What about its rotation? Our moon is tidally locked, meaning the same side always faces Earth. A disco ball that doesn't spin is just a shiny moon. To get the full effect, the sweeping beams of light, you'd need it to rotate. But spinning something that massive takes energy. Lots of it. We'd effectively have to install a cosmic motor just to keep the party going. That's not even mentioning the fact that space is a vacuum. No air, no smoke machines, no bass-heavy soundtrack. So if you were hoping for an actual interplanetary dance party, I regret to inform you that the vibe would be severely lacking. And here's the kicker. The disco moon wouldn't last long. All those delicate glass mirrors would be constantly bombarded by micrometeoroids. The real moon is pockmarked with craters because space is not a gentle place. Within a few thousand years, maybe even just a few weeks, our beautiful mirror surface would be scratched, chipped, and covered in cosmic dust. The dazzling light show would fade, leaving us with a sad, patchy moon that looked like someone abandoned a broken ornament in the sky. So could we survive with a disco ball moon? Technically yes, but we'd regret it almost immediately. Our nights would be ruined, ecosystems would collapse, and our climate would spiral. The only ones celebrating would be power companies, since no one would need outdoor lighting anymore. In the end, the moon may be gray and boring, but it's also perfect for us. If you want a disco ball in the sky, it's probably best to stick with the small ones you can hang above a dance floor, where the worst thing that happens is someone steps on your foot while doing the cha-cha.